Hey guys, I'm Josh, and today we're going to go over our first MCAT question of the day. So let's hop right into it. So this question says, an intravenous infusion causes a sharp rise in the serum level of albumin, the major osmoregulatory protein in the blood. This will most likely cause an increase in the immune response, increase in tissue albumin levels, outflow of blood fluid to the tissues, or influx of tissue fluid to the bloodstream. So before we analyze these answer choices, let's try to visualize what's going on. And we know it's probably going to have something to do with osmoregulation since that was mentioned in the buildup of the question. So if we picture a blood vessel, we know that we're getting an intravenous infusion that's causing an increase in the levels of albumin. So we're getting albumin injected directly into the blood. So imagine these circles are albumin. We're seeing the concentration of this protein increase greatly in the blood. So we have way more solutes in the blood, meaning the blood is now considered a hypertonic solution. And when we compare that to the cells or the tissue surrounding that blood vessel, since they didn't get any kind of infusion of albumin, their protein levels are the same. So now that tissue will be considered a hypotonic environment. And the way osmoregulation works is water moves from a low solute concentration to a high solute concentration. So water moves from the hypotonic environment to a hypertonic environment. And specifically, because we got this intravenous infusion directly into that blood, we know that the bloodstream is the hypertonic environment. So we're going to see water moving from the tissue into the bloodstream. And that lines up pretty well with option choice D. So I feel pretty confident about that. Before we submit that answer, let's make sure that the other option choices are false. So would we expect to see an increase in the immune response? Albumin is a normal protein. It's found all over the body. And unless we have autoimmune disorder, we're not going to have any kind of immune reaction to a normal self-protein. So I would expect option A to be false. Option B, an increase in tissue albumin levels. I don't think the albumin that's got injected into that bloodstream is going to be uptaken into that tissue. I don't think we're going to expect to see that. So I think we can be pretty confident in ruling B off as well. And option choice C, an outflow of blood fluid to the tissues. So that's saying water that's in that bloodstream is moving into the tissue. And we know that's false because water moves from that hypotonic, that low solute concentration, to the hypertonic environment. So we know C is the opposite. So let's go with D.